I was never gonna be a men's physique.
Didn't have much of an off season.
I like his physique better.
I'm always very energetic. I will have to put me as one of the greatest.
Mr. Olympia was won by the back.
So, how you been, man? You just got off performing at 2 shows, right? You were at New York Pro, and then you went straight to California with a mask on.
Yeah, a couple of days later, I went to California. So, yeah, it's a little crazy.
Yeah, how was it competing during the pandemic, man? I was wondering, as a bodybuilder, like, are you worried going in there with obviously anybody can have the COVID, you know what I'm saying? What was your mindset like?
No, because, so many other things you're doing. You go to the supermarket, you go all over. So if you're going to catch it, you can catch it anywhere. So being at the show, I think I'd feel more safe there than all the other places. So you go to the supermarket, you got people touching everything, and you're touching it. And I don't know. As far as COVID, being at the show, no, that's the last thing I worry about.
But it's crazy because at California, was the masks required to be worn on stage?
Yeah, the mask was required, and we had to. I think the first one we first did the first group. They only had 4 guys. I think it was only 4 because they had to keep the space between us, and yeah, the mask thing was, yeah, it was.
It looked a little funny, but Was it tough? Was it tough actually hitting poses with that thing on?
No, not for me. I know a lot of guys that was having issue. Not for me. Like I don't really. Posing does not affect me that much. So with the breathing mask, posing, I didn't really have much of a problem. But I do know a lot of guys that was having difficulties.
Because you gotta breathe in it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you wear it, like it's a little tough. I can just imagine.
Yeah. I know how to control I guess that's why I don't have much of an issue, because I know how to control my breathing, and when I'm hitting my pose. Plus, I don't, because of my shape and the way my muscles are shaped. Like I don't really have to do crazy squeezing to make them pop. So some guys have to squeeze with everything they have to make the muscle pop. My muscles actually look better if I just give them a little tap. Not really. If I squeeze them too much, they kind of they restrict, so they shrink a little bit. So if I just squeeze them just right, they actually look better. So because of that, when I pose, I don't really get out of breath that quickly because of how I have to pose. Yeah, it was freaking. I saw some guys after like 2 or 3 poses. I saw some guys, man, that was really having a hard time. Which I understand, because it's not easy. It's already hard enough to do without a mask. Now you have to pose with a mask on. It's crazy.
Is it tough? When you go through your mandatory poses, right, and then when they line everybody up on the stage and they do call outs, and you got to kind of just, let's say, wait while the other guys pose, you still got to kind of stand there and breathe and maintain your posture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that ever difficult for you to because that can be kind of exhausting in itself?
No, it is, but once again, for me, it's not really that difficult, because when you're sitting on the side, what you're trying to do is you're trying to keep your gut and you're trying to keep your body tight. So this is all stuff that I naturally, just me by sitting in a relaxed position without me even doing anything, even if I'm not even aware of it, my arms naturally gonna stay tight and my whole body just stands tight. So I don't really have any issue with that.
Mm-hmm. What about prep? Did you have access to the gym while preparing for New York Pro? Did you have access to
No.
How did you work out?
I wish I had to use some friends' facilities that has some equipment, and I have the machine that I used in UB, so that actually helped a lot. So I had to crank that thing all the way up.
What is it exactly? It's a machine, like multi-purpose machine?
Yeah, it's great for working out. I mean, it's freaking amazing for working out. It's actually contract the muscle for you, like each body part. I love to use it, especially on leg day, because I can get so much out of my leg workout. So I was using that a lot. Even sometimes I'll just sit home while I'm watching TV. I'll just put it on, and then I'll turn it on without doing anything. I'm just watching TV, and then it's doing all my muscles going like this. So getting them some kind of work done while I'm watching TV.
What is it? What is it exactly? Is it a vibrating plate or something?
No, it's not like it's a vibrating. it stimulates the muscles. It's actually, when it sends a signal from your brain to the muscle. You know how you have the mind muscle connection. So it actually help you contract the muscle properly while you're training it. So basically, it does more than half of the job for you while you're working out. So let's just say if I'm doing a leg press and I crank it all the way up, even before I even start moving the weight, my leg is already flexing, flexing. So now all I
It can be painful though, right? Because it sends this
it
like
is very
it
painful.
contracts the muscle. Yeah, I've seen it
Yeah,
before.
it's very painful. But you get used to it. You get used to it. You got to start very low with the intensity, and then you slowly up it. But yeah, it's very painful. Yes. Yeah, New York, during this pandemic is the worst place for you to be in when it comes to gym because they're so strict out here. Everything is very strict. Make me want to move somewhere else to be honest. Because yeah, because I see other people in different states working out, just living life here. Everything is
So,
just way.
but you still got ready, and did you think about sitting it out maybe and just call it for the rest of the year, just
Um,
now doing shows? Did you think about that?
what I did was because I didn't know which show was gonna get canceled. So it's not really just about me sitting it out. It's about me not pushing myself too much, like doing too much cardio or going too much. I didn't want to go at 100% into a show until I was 100% sure that the show was gonna happen. Because since when the pandemic started, I tried for like four different shows, and every single one of them, one by one, they got canceled. So imagine if I'm trying to go on hard for each one of them when it's actually time for me to actually get on stage, I'll be burned out. So what I did was I'll just I'll do a little diet, but I'll try to maintain a normal life at the same time. And I didn't really turn it up until I was like maybe 4 or 5 weeks out when I spoke to Steve and he said like definitely the New York Pro gonna happen. I said, all right, so it's time to turn it up. So that's when I really got in it and really trying to get in shape.
Hmm. Now, in your pro, you got fifth place, right?
Yeah, New York Pro I got fifth place.
And there was some controversy about it because a lot of people thought that some people thought you deserved to get higher placing. Some people thought you deserved to win even, right? I'm sure you heard these things.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then your coach Milos, right? He was very vocal about it right away. He thought you
I
were
mean,
robbed.
yeah, people say he's very vocal. I don't think he's doing anything out of the ordinary. I think the little stuff behind the scene, yeah, but as far as what I see him doing on social media, people say that he's I don't do I mean, you've seen what he wrote on social media. Do you see him doing anything out of the ordinary?
No,
Because
he's a very vocal guy. He speaks his
he's
mind.
very vocal, but he's not doing anything that on social media that's crossing the line. As far as what he's doing on social media, just posting pictures, I don't really see how is that really crossing the line. I don't see how if you post a comparison picture between a client or anyone in the top five, how is that controversial?
I don't think he's crossing the line. I think he just speaks his mind. I want to know your opinion. Did you feel like you won the show, or did you feel like you deserved higher place?
Oh, I, I definitely feel like I won. I mean, I would have been happy with the higher placing, but I felt like I understand. I do understand why I didn't win, but I felt like yeah, I felt like I could have won the show.
Why do you feel like you didn't win? What do you think? You had weak points that judges didn't like about you. What do you think happened?
Yeah, I think I probably have weak points. Maybe the judges those not maybe they didn't feel pleased with whatever my weak points was. Maybe they were more okay with somebody else's weak points than they are with mine. Because I know I get knocked for some stuff and some other guys get knocked for some other stuff for whatever my weak point is. So maybe that's the reason why I didn't win. But in my opinion, I still feel like I was good enough to win. Maybe place better, but I definitely feel like I was good enough to win. I'm not saying that I have an issue with not winning. I understand why I didn't win, but I do feel like I'm pretty sure every single one of us, anybody in the top five probably felt like they should. I mean, top six, top 10 probably feel like they should have won.
Yeah, I don't think that's like you said. It's not crossing the line. It's just your opinion. Like, you know what I mean? People get very sensitive very quickly. I feel like.
Yeah, if I'm getting on stage, of course I feel like I deserve to win. Otherwise, I would have kept my ass home.
Yeah. Now Milos, I saw an interview with him after the judging, right? After the prejudging, whatever. He really believes in you.
He does.
He actually made a statement
100%.
that he thinks that you can become Mr. Olympia. He didn't say when exactly. I don't know if he meant, like this year.
But I
or
don't
whatever.
have much time, so he better come up with a time because I don't have much time because it get tough for me to go from show to show to show to show and to find the motivation because it's like a roller coaster, you know. When you go into a show like the New York Pro and you get placed fifth, and when I felt like I was, I felt like I was better than fifth, then you get placed fifth. So after that, you have to go home and try to find the motivation to prep for the next one. Then you go to the next one, and then something has happened. So now you have to go back home again and to find motivation to move on to the next one. So how many times can you keep doing that over and over and over and over before your mind be like, yo, I don't want to do this no more.
Well, what adjustments did you make going to because they were only like a couple of weeks apart, right? Or like 1 week
Which one?
apart? The New York Pro and California Championship. What was
No,
it?
like 1 week.
1 week apart, right? So
Yeah.
what adjustments did you make going into that show?
Um, we didn't really have much time, so I came back home on Sunday, and then I had to leave on Tuesday. So basically, I was only home for like a day and a half. So there wasn't really much adjustment that I had to make. So we pretty much did the same thing that we did for New York. It's not really because in New York I thought I looked great. It's not like there was something wrong with how I look in New York. So if there was something wrong, there was something to fix, then I would probably try to tweak things. But everything worked perfectly for New York, so there was no point to change anything. So I did pretty much the same thing that I did for New York for the California show, which is a couple of days later. The only thing is, I think for those, since I was already in shape, for those 2 days when I was home, my carbs was not as low as it was going into New York. So my carb was a little bit higher, so which allowed me to be fuller for the California show.
So how did you feel after the California show? How did you feel about your performance there?
How did I? Oh, yeah, that one was tough. Yeah, because I felt like I was this close. Like you can taste it, and it freaking just. It's like you're about to take a bite out of your favorite food. Somebody just smack it out of your hand. Yeah, that was a tough one for me. Tough. Like I'm still trying to get my mind to find some motivation to move on. But I will, because I still love what I do. The passion, the fire still in me. I just have to get over that, because that moment when you get called second place, it's just keep playing in your head. That's all I keep seeing. Like that moment when I'm standing there, just like, oh, I'm second. I'm not first. Once again, you feel like you're not worthy. So
I mean, I don't feel like personally, I don't think you should be discouraged at all. I feel like you improve, you got better placing, obviously, and then you're a great bodybuilder. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, my placings are getting better.
So what's next? What's the strategy? I mean, you want to make it to Olympia this year, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, at first I didn't want to, not after the last one, because I'm like, okay, if because of the way things were going, I'll say, oh, maybe I need to take some time off and not even compete again this year. But once again, that's like you reacting out of frustration and disappointment. But once I calm down and realize, you know what, I can get much better from now until the Olympia, because I didn't really have a gym to train this whole time, and I still managed to make improvement. So now that I have like a full-blown facility to make the kind of improvement that I need to make, so I think I'm actually excited to see what kind of improvement that I'll be able to make from now until then.
But do you have to do any more shows to qualify or?
No, I don't really think so because right now I'm leading on the points. Yeah, but it would be nice to go in with a win though, because that's what I've been trying for to get that win. But I don't really think I have to do another show. I can just go on points. I hope that would be enough. But my main goal is just to, if I do make it there, is for me to bring my all-time best. Really, just show up looking crazy, because being pushed to the side so many times. That's how I look at it. I'm always being pushed to the corner, pushed to the side. I feel like I have to knock so many people down just to get to the front. In order for me to do that, I really have to bring something really, really, really good. And I think I can do that.
Why did you choose to work with Milos specifically? There's a lot of other coaches in the game. Like, what's about him that made you want to work with him?
I choose to work with Milos because of I've listened to him talk and I like the way he think. And after me, I worked with him. I didn't really start working with him fully and for prep. I only worked with him for 1 week because I was doing Romania, and I worked with him for him to pick me for that week. And I like the fact that the way he walks in. I mostly what I'm looking for in a coach is somebody that have a good eye when they're looking at me, somebody that can criticize me. Some people like for the coach to sugarcoat with them and telling them like, "Oh, you're looking good." I don't want you to tell me what's looking good. I want you to tell me what's need to be fixed, what need to be better. And that's all he does. He just basically once he's looking at me, oh, just need to be better. You need to be tighter here. You need to be fuller here. And some people might have issue with that, but me, that actually make me feel confident on my coach, because you always need to be better. So when you're telling me, oh, you look great, and I have to wonder, like, do I really look great, or this guy just telling me I look great? But him, he's always like, okay, we need to work on this, we need to work on that. And so far, all the shows that I've done with him, I keep getting better, and I think it's because of him being able to know what he's looking at when he's looking at me. Because once you're able to know what you're looking at, once you're looking at a client, it's easier for you to make an adjustment. Some people might have the knowledge, they know what to do, but if your eyes cannot tell you exactly what's missing and what need to be fixed, you're not gonna know what to fix.
What's the dynamic like working with him? Do you follow everything he says 100%? Do you guys kind of like do like, you know what I mean? You do sometimes you don't follow, you know, because
Well,
some bodybuilders they follow 100%. Some kind of do their own thing. You know, like what's the dynamic like working with him?
well, I guess you could say I follow everything 100%. Doesn't mean that let's just say if you bring me, we're talking about a plan, we talk about it, and then we come with a decision. This is how the plan gonna be executed, and then once we decide that's the best thing for me to do, yes, then it only makes sense for me to follow it 100%. Doesn't mean that everything that is suggested is something that I would agree with. But like if we speak about, okay, this is the reason why you gotta do this is the reason why I gotta do that, then once we both agree that's the best way for us to move forward, it would be silly for me not to follow it 100%. Then what's the point of me having a coach? So I might as well do my own thing. If you're not gonna listen to somebody or even have communication for you guys to be in agreement with what you're doing, then there's no point of you working together.
It's interesting. I was just rewatching an episode of East Coast Mecca. It was a series that we did, a few seasons of it, and you were on one of the episodes. And I think it was from 2017. You were doing. I think you're a pro actually.
2016.
2016, yeah. And you were Steve
Yeah.
Weinberger was like critiquing you and giving you pointers and stuff like that. And you were like, you were saying, "Oh man, I feel, I look great right now, but I just feel so terrible inside." You know what I mean? Can you talk about like that, the final days before the competition, what your body goes through, and how you're supposed to manage to get through that?
Yeah, the last couple of days, regardless of what you look like, even once your body fat is low, you're gonna feel like regardless. It doesn't really 1 second I'll feel okay. It's like at that time it's like my body. I'm not saying I'm bipolar. I think my body is bipolar. 1 second I feel fine. 2 seconds later, I feel like I'm about to die. I feel cranky. I feel like fucking days the end of the world. And your body is just like it's up and down. So those last couple of days it's just not fun. It's just so much going on with your body. It's like the imbalance is it's up and down. So it's a lot for you to handle. So that's why it's even better to have a coach because I know I've tried doing it on my own those last couple of days. Now I would not do that again because you can barely focus on what you're doing. You are if you're doing that on your own. I mean, if you can, more power to you. But I can't because I've tried. Because those last couple of days, you have so many crazy thoughts running through your head. You want to try everything, things you would never freaking suggest it to somebody else to try. But to you at that moment, that's why your mind is telling you, oh yeah, if you try this, this is gonna work. This is gonna work great. If you try that, it's gonna work great. You're not gonna be able to realize how stupid it was until the show's over. You get some food on you, and your mind is clear. So by then, by then it's too late. So those last couple of days, I think that's the most critical time. Even though you're feeling like crap, you're feeling like complete. That's when I really, really count on my coach to carry me on because at that moment I can even think. I mean, yeah, you can't think straight. That's like the last thing I would want to do at that thing is trying to make a really, really critical decision on me getting on stage. Like I think those at that time it should all be on him because unless it's something that sounds very ridiculous that I think makes zero sense, then I'll be like, okay, you know what? I think we should do it another way. But as far as me just trying to take charge and trying to do this and trying to do that now, because at that time I leave everything up to my coach. Because when I tried to do that in the past, it never worked out too well for me because I can't even think straight. My body is all over the place. My mind is all over the place. I can't think straight. There's too much going on in my head. You become very what would I say? You become very insecure because it's time for you to get on stage because you have that pressure on yourself to bring your best to the stage. So I say you become very insecure because you afraid that any little thing gonna make you not bring your best to the stage. So you start questioning every little thing, up and down. You go this way, you go that way. So you don't really know which way to go. So you have so many different ways you want to go that it's more than likely you're gonna take the wrong route. So when I realized that, I say it's probably best for me to have somebody that I can trust, that I can leave it up to him to make those decisions for me. And I have to feel confident in that person to know that he's gonna make the right decision. Even if you do have somebody that can make the decision for you, if you don't have confidence in that person, it doesn't help because you're still gonna go crazy. You're still gonna question, oh, is this guy know what he's doing? Is he still making the right decision? You need somebody that you can trust 100%. Yeah, that's yeah, because I've had um I've had moments when you like hour 2 hours before stage, and I say, oh shit, I look crazy, and then you start putting that pressure on yourself. You start thinking too much. You start doing too much. Like I said, when you don't have that one person to leave everything on their hand, then you start putting that much pressure on yourself. Maybe I should take a little bit of this. Then freaking like within half hour, my body will look like. I mean, I tell people that they probably think, nah, you're lying. There's no way. My body have changed within half hour. Look like I'm 5 6 weeks out from me looking freaking shredded crazy about to hit the stage, and you get excited thinking, okay, I'm about to bring something crazy to the stage, and by the time I'm about to hit the stage, I don't even know what the hell is that person that I'm looking at. For example, when I did, I think it was the 2017 Olympia, like right before I hit that stage, I mean, every single person that I was with, like we were all together, everybody's like, yo, you're looking freaking nuts. And now I'm backstage, I'm looking at everybody. What's gonna happen? Pressure on myself. My cortisol rise up. Of course, I spill over. So now, by the time I get on stage, I look. The worst mistake that I make is while I was on stage posing, because they have the big screen. I kind of took a glance on that screen, and I was embarrassed with what I saw because I just lift my head up and look up the screen, and I'm like, oh fuck, what the fuck happened? And then I did my thing, and as soon as I walk up the stage, all my people that was there, including my girl, they all running up to me. What happened? I mean, like, what the hell you think happened? Like, I mean, like, I don't have the answer for that. I don't really know what happened. I don't know what happened. Something happened to my body, but everybody thought I had the answers. Everybody keep asking me, what happened? What happened? You look crazy a minute ago. What happened? What happened? I said, I have no idea what happened, but something happened. Then later on, I realized it's too much pressure on yourself. Your cortisol start going up, yeah, you're gonna look like shit. So now I have to learn how to keep myself calm and not put that pressure on myself.
That's very interesting. I was wondering, why did you get into bodybuilding originally? How did that even become your thing? You know what I'm saying, that your profession?
When ever since I was a little kid, I used to watch Arnold. Like I saw him in that movie Commando. That was the first time I saw him. And once I saw that movie and his physique was like nothing I ever seen before, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? So I started. I was still back home in Haiti as a kid, so I was asking people,
You're from Haiti, right, originally? I was going
yeah,
to ask you about
Haiti.
that too. Yeah. There's
So
not a lot of bodybuilders from Haiti.
huh?
Not a lot of bodybuilders, pro bodybuilders from Haiti. I mean,
Nah, I think we have a few. We have a few. Like people just probably don't know that they're Haitian. I'm very outspoken about my Haitianness, so that's why people know I'm Haitian. But there's a few out there, but people just probably don't know like they know I'm Haitian. But so when I saw him on the screen, and I was like, "Yo, who the hell is this guy?" So I started asking people. They said, "Oh, his name is Arnold Schwarzenegger." I said, "No, what does he do?" They're like, "No, he's an actor." I said, "No, no, what does he do?" They said, "He's an actor." I said, "No, no, no, I'm not talking about him acting. There was something there that because I've seen a lot of actors, none of them look like him." I said, "There's something different about this guy." I said, "What else does he do beside acting?" They didn't tell me he's a bodybuilder. They told me, "Oh, he's Mr. Olympia." So ever since that moment, I said, "Oh, when I grow up, I want to be Mr. Olympia." So before I wanted to be a bodybuilder, I wanted to be Mr. Olympia. So in order for me to be Mr. Olympia, I have to compete. So that's why I started competing.
that's great, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about, obviously, you men's, how do you feel about the men's open division right now at the moment, the state of it? Do you feel like it's declining? Do you feel like it's growing? How do you feel about it overall? Because there's so many other divisions happening right now.
Well, right now it's a pandemic. We cannot expect too much. People always want to complain and shit on the new generation. The old generation is better. You know what? I'm gonna say this right now. It's all BS because you talk about condition, you can talk about shape for the old generation. I brought shit to the stage. Didn't help me one freaking bit. I brought it. Didn't help me one bit. And you can assess my leg because when you go back to the old generation, why are you talking about it way back then? My leg is actually bigger than those dudes. So what the hell is it? So I think it's all talk. People just want to. People always want to criticize. People want to criticize us because that's what people do right now on the internet. It's not really because the older generation is better. Yeah, we all look up to those guys way back in the days because that's what motivated us. That's what a lot of us. That's why we do what we do because in order for us to be able to do what we do today, they had to do what they did because we're standing on the shoulders of giants. So we have to respect them. But I don't really like the whole old school versus new school, especially a lot of the old school guy that just love to it on this generation. I'm like, damn, is that really necessary? I
That
mean, is
happened.
that really necessary?
That happened a lot after Brandon Curry won, especially.
Oh yeah,
He faced a lot of
yeah. I
backlash
heard
from,
he
from
got
the
a
old
lot of
guys.
crap from people. Like I mean, more power to him. Because he handled it like a real champ. He didn't really go off. He didn't really go back at nobody. He just took it. But no, I don't think it's necessary. But I don't think now, if I had to be honest, depending how far back you're talking, if I'm talking about Ronnie's era between Ronnie, Flex, and Kevin, fuck yeah, they were better than us. That I would admit.
Well, why is
That
that? Why is that?
era
You
right
think?
there is like untouchable.
Why is that? Just
Uh,
because? Well,
huh?
you that's exactly what most people say. What you just said. But why is that? Why were they better than you are?
Because you had guys like those guys, they had everything. They had the crazy genetic, they had the work ethic, and they had the physique, they had the condition, they had the shape, they had the fullness, they had everything. You had guys that, like, let's just say for Flex Wheeler. Flex Wheeler didn't have the craziest condition out of everybody, but he had the craziest shape of everybody. Ronnie didn't have the craziest shape because Flex Wheeler already had that, but he had the craziest size and the craziest condition. Sean Ray didn't have the craziest size, but he was more polished than any bodybuilders I've ever seen. And you have Kevin Levon, that's his freaking that's as great as it gets. So you had the genetic pool that you had. It just sometimes it just happened. You just had guys at that moment, at that era, that just had freaking superb genetic. It just so happened that's when you had that group at that time, no error. Before, after, yeah, if that's what you're asking, yeah, they'll shit on all of us. Before and after. Yeah, I would say right now, yeah, if anybody right now trying to deny that those guys are from that time they were better than us, I say, come on, man, you bugging because that's you got to give credit where credit is due.
I hear you, man. All right, so let's talk about what is your typical day like during prep? Just take me through your whole day. What time do you wake up? How do you train? How many times? Like, take me through a day of prep.
If I'm prepping, yeah, I wake up. I'm usually I don't really sleep much. I'm trying to fix that. So I usually wake up like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll do a little bit of cardio and then come back home, have my first meal, and then if I have to train somebody or do whatever I have to do, then I'll do that. If I have some work to get done, and I get my work done, and then go back do my training, and then come back home and spend time with my family.
How much do you eat every day? How many meals and how many calories?
I'm not a big eater, so I would love to tell you some really nice story about eating. I can tell you when it comes to eating, I'm a big disappointment. That's all I know. I don't eat much. I mean, the most that I can eat I'm eating is right now because I just finished getting off the show. So right now my appetite is a little better. So I'll say right now, I'll probably I've been having like 5 meals with like maybe 7, 8 ounces of protein and 75 grams, 70 to 75 gram of carb for each one. So that's about maybe 370, 300
Hmm. You ever had
for
like a thing called a chicken shake? Some guys they take a chicken, blend it up in a blender with rice and drink it.
yeah, yeah, I tried that. That was disgusting. Yeah, that would make me want to throw up. You know what I do though? I drink liquid eggs.
Like an egg white, like
Yeah,
from
egg
the
white.
bottle.
I drink that I can
Right.
I
Raw,
mean I huh?
raw.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean I see some people that say that when you drink it like that you don't really get all the nutrition, all the protein out of it. I know that cannot be the case unless I'm like on a whole different level when it comes to genetic, which I don't think is the case because I've done prep where my last 6 weeks all I do is liquid eggs. Basically not really any carbs because I don't have the appetite to eat the carbs, and I've done that for a couple of shows where all I do for like a couple for like 5, 6 weeks is just liquid eggs.
Wow, that's all you eat.
Yeah. Because sometimes my appetite is so bad. I like people think when I said before that I only eat 1 meal a day because I'm trying to tell people, oh, if you eat 1 meal a day, that's the secret to be big. No, I'm not telling you eating 1 meal is the secret to be big because obviously it wouldn't be. If I'm only eating 1 meal, if I could eat 5 real meal, I'll be much better off. But for me, like my appetite sometimes it get really, really, really bad to where I cannot literally not eat anything. And I think maybe it was like after I turned pro, that's when I started doing the liquid eggs because I felt like as a pro I had to keep improving my physique. Because as an amateur, I can eat, I don't eat. But then when I was a pro, I said, damn, even if I don't eat, I have to find a way to get some protein in. So, and I tried the liquid eggs and I haven't been doing it ever since.
Interesting. What about cheat meals? What is your rule? Do you like cheat meals or what? Like, how do you often
No,
eat?
cheat meal, even when I do get a cheat meal, that's why I say when it comes to eating, I'm a disappointment. I get excited for it, but as soon as I took one bite, I feel full. I can even eat it. So you know how some people they'll cheat on their diet, but me, I have a hard time cheating when I'm supposed to be cheating.
You're the
Yeah,
first. You're the first bodybuilder that I talked to that's like that. Usually
yeah,
those guys,
but just when it comes to food, I don't really know if it's because of where I came from. Maybe that could be it. Maybe I came from a poor country where it's really hard for people to survive and get food. Maybe my body's so used to surviving on so little, and it just stick with me.
That's interesting. That's interesting theory. But I'm saying you still gotta hit a certain amount of calories per day, right, in order to grow, maintain the muscle mass. You still got somehow this.
Well, I mean, I don't really know how to answer those type of questions because I don't know because I guess if I could get more calories, it would be easier for me to grow. But I've still managed to make progress without eating like people assume that I should be eating.
Mhm. What about cardio? How, like, do you do cardio daily? Do you do it on an empty stomach in the morning? How does that? How do you do that?
When I get close, when I get to maybe 5, 6 weeks, I started doing that when I started working with Milos. When I get to like 5, 6 weeks, then I start doing morning cardios. I never really used to do that before, and so this is my first time around doing it, and it actually worked pretty well for me. Not much. I do like 20 minutes.
You do elliptical or stairmaster
I do the treadmill,
treadmill?
and sometimes I mix it up. I do half on treadmill, half on the elliptical. I prefer to mix it up.
And what about off season? Do you do any cardio at all?
No, but this time around, I think I will. This time around, I think when I do hit the off season, I wanna focus more on doing stuff that I've never done before. I think my off season I've been too laid back because I can get away with so much. So now it's really time for me to see what I can really achieve if I really do the kind of work that I need to be doing.
It's interesting. So you feel like you didn't discover your full potential yet?
No, I don't think so. No way. I don't think I've come nowhere near my full potential. Because in order for me to say that I've come near my full potential is if I can get the amount of calories that I can get in. My struggle is always every year I try to eat a little bit more, a little bit more. So if I can eat the way that I'm supposed to, then I know my body will look completely different. So my struggle is, and my goal is to get my calories up.
So now I actually understand what Milos is talking about. Because in the beginning I was like, I think he sees the potential in you. He just realizes that if you do continue, building it up and following, I guess, certain regimens,
Yeah,
you definitely can, go to a number one
yeah,
spot.
I believe that's the case because I've seen what my body would respond to things very easily, very quickly, without barely doing anything. So it would be good to see what my body would be like if I was able to do what I'm supposed to be doing, or what is expected for a guy my size to be doing. Because for what I do for my size is nowhere near what I'm supposed to be doing.
What would be your number one advice to a bodybuilder that wants to become men's open, contender, and make it into a profession, take bodybuilding seriously and make a living out of it? What was your advice
Um,
towards this?
I would say it's pretty tough road. So I would say be patient. Do not get discouraged when things doesn't happen your way because that is to be expected. Just cause you have friends that's telling you how great you are doesn't mean that you're gonna go into a show and freaking kill it. Because a lot of time your friends are lying to you. So you have to be realistic. So when things doesn't happen your way, when you feel like you're not succeeding, that's when you try your hardest. If you have that mindset, if you do have the potential and you have that mindset and you have the work ethic, then you can make it far. I would say just perseverance. That's the number one thing I would give to people because I've seen with so many guys, it's the ego that they have. And once that ego get crushed, first thing you're gonna do is quit. That's what I see happen to a lot of people because they do it just to impress other people, whether it's their friends or the people around them. So once you go to a show and then you get crushed, then now you have problem with not just yourself, with the whole world because you never expected that to happen to you. So now your ego get crushed. Now you mad at everybody, you mad at the whole world, and you even now you mad at the whole sport, and you don't want to do it no more. So don't listen to all people that's praising you, telling you how great you are. The only thing you need to focus on is how much work you can put in. I say forget about how great people telling you are. Just work your ass off. That's what's gonna make you great. Your friend telling you you're great is, trust me, it's not really gonna make you great. Listening to people that's praising you and telling you how good you are, it's not what's gonna make you good. Just believe in yourself and keep pushing. Never. If you believe that you're actually good, not just because people are telling you you're good, then you're not gonna quit. Because it's gonna be impossible for you to quit just knowing that you're great. If you know that you're great, you're not gonna quit. And if you don't quit and then you're actually great, you're gonna have to make it to where you wanna be.
Do you feel like if to be a great bodybuilder, you kind of have to be a little narcissistic and self-centered in a way? Like, do you think those qualities actually do help you in bodybuilding?
It's probably easy for you to be, but I don't think you have to be. I mean, I'm not. I think I think the guys that are, they'll probably have a little bit of advantage over people that think like me because I'll question and doubt everything about myself. Those people, they won't do that. So it'll be harder for a guy like that for his cortisol to start acting up. But somebody like me, my cortisol gonna act up. So that's why when I started having the cortisol issue, I was like, damn, I wish I was like that. Actually, I used to think like shit. I wish I could think like those guys because I do know that's my issue. I question things too much because I know my shortcoming and I know what I'm good at. And I do know a lot of time things can go your way, things does not go your way. But those people, they don't think like that. They always walk around like I'm the shit, 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 I'm the shit. So their cortisol is not freaking gonna be up and down because they only on one level. Their level is so their cortisol is gonna stay at the same level. So yeah, in that sense, they have the advantage.
For sure. All right, couple more questions, Max. Let's talk about this year's Olympia and the lineup. I know you're trying to make it to Olympia, obviously, right? And right now you're leading by points. How do you feel about the lineup overall? And what did you take on it?
Lineup. I'm excited for Phil. He's coming back. That's big. So now imagine if Phil come back and actually beat him. Yeah, that's even more exciting for me. I know you. I know what people think. It's not gonna happen. Well, it doesn't hurt to dream. He said he's coming. Soon as I heard he's coming, I was like, oh, it'll be nice to beat him. I'll be honest. That's what I think of. But I'm a big fan of Phil, so I'm really excited that he's coming because, like I said, from the era of Ronnie and those other guys, those guys are untouchable. I think past that era, if anybody that I see that was good enough for me to put on that mix, that on that level, since that era, is Phil. So to me, he's freaking legendary status, along with Dexter, because Dexter, Jesus freaking Christ, I don't know what's up. Dexter just, yeah. People that are competing right now that I look at as legendary status is Dexter, because nobody can do what Dexter does, and Phil. So when I hear that he's coming back, I'm such a great fan of his physique, and I only hope that I can be at my best standing next to him and hopefully give him hell.
For sure. How do you feel about Flex Lewis going into a men's open for the first time?
It'll be interesting to see because he's moving from 212 to the open, so he had that weight restriction. Now that he's not having that weight restriction, he's little freaking. He pack a lot of muscles on, and he's a short dude, and that. See, nobody can tell for sure because he's a shorter guy. You never know how much weight he can actually pack on and what it's gonna look like on him. So anything that anybody is saying is just your opinion. None of us really know, but it would be interesting to see what he actually looked like with the extra weight.
Now, it's interesting about Brandon Curry, right? Because Brandon Curry's been competing for a while, but he was never a serious contender for the #1 spot, right? Nobody ever put him in that conversation until he went to Kuwait, and then he transformed and he put on a lot of muscle, right? And then suddenly he just completely started dominating he won the Arnold Classic. And it just completely changed his career going there, right? Have you ever thought about potentially doing something that drastic? What the step that he took was to change his whole career. You know what I'm saying? Did you ever think about that?
Going to Kuwait?
Going to Kuwait or potentially somewhere away that you can just focus on bodybuilding and changing.
Nah. I mean, what is it that I can do that I can do here?
I'm not sure. I don't know what he did over there, but
until I find out what I can do that I can do here, then I don't think it's an option. Because I think whatever I can do there, I can do at home. I mean, yeah, I have my family here. I mean, when it's all said and done, it would take way too much for me to decide to leave my family, to leave everything that I have, just to go there. And I mean, more power to him. Look at what happened. Everything worked out for him. But I don't think it would be the case for a lot of other guys. Try to move to Kuwait and it didn't work out for them. And I don't want to be one of them. Now, do I ever consider that? No. But good on Brendan though. He make it work, and now he's number one.
Yeah, for sure. All right. And lastly, so just to remind people, what is your next step? Are you going to do any more shows, or are you going straight to the Olympia?
I'm not. It would be good to go into the Olympia with a win. Just leave it as that.
All right, Max. Great interview, man. I appreciate you taking your time to do this, man. Thank you so much.
Groovy.
And great meeting you, man. Thank you.
All right, same here.
I appreciate it. Take care, man.